massively in their ability to fund this type of propaganda campaign they're going to throw at us.
Powerful information. We're going to take calls and cover a lot more with an amazing guest and a hard guy to get on the show. Dr. Joseph Mercola, Mercola.com. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. The battle for freedom is now. Join it. Many hands make light work. Together, we will defeat these monopoly men tyrants.
We're on the GCN Radio Network.
In other news, Kurt Nemo's article just went up at Infowars.com. Obama ban on youth farm chores, part of a larger power grab. You want to understand Agenda 21? It's all right there in the article. Get it out to everybody. They've announced the Pentagon's involved, Homeland Security, flooding out, harassing, and the answer is don't comply, don't talk to them, shun them, hate them in your community, or it's over. Okay, this is a federal invasion, which means a foreign banker invasion. There's a bunch of other incredible news. It has been confirmed. A caller called about an hour ago and pointed out, and it is in Market Watch, which is part of the Wall Street Journal. It is in the Examiner. It is true that 900 major municipalities, in fact, most of the country, will cast its ballots, and it'll be master aggregated by a Spanish company that, hold it, wait for this. The Spanish company is owned by its chief investment firm, George Soros. So George Soros, Stalin said, I don't care who casts the ballots, I only care who counts them. George Soros, to control majority of electronic voting machines. Bombshell info. But it doesn't matter, even if they can't get their Lord and Savior Obama in, if there's too big a landslide, same big banks finance Mitt Romney. I mean, it really is dire straits. But the good news is, like Dr. Mercola was just saying, we're voting with our dollars. We're supporting alternative media. We're supporting freedom on the web. We're supporting organics. We're supporting labeling. And we have got to, everybody, plant a bigger garden. Everybody filter their water. Myself, I've been a slob. I've known about health. I used to be a sports addict, then went the opposite direction. Got so busy in radio and TV for years, stopped working out, ate like a pig. I've lost 40-something pounds. And I'm still need to lose another 25, 30. And I'm going to do it. But the point is that we need to rebel against this system by taking care of ourselves and getting along with our families and being civically involved. They're going to be at the Houston Metro meeting tomorrow fighting the TSA, who's now doing body searches and bag checks on the streets and in buses. The feds, out of their jurisdiction, doing what police can't do. Dr. Mercola, I want to get more into GMO, and I want to ask you, other points you'd like to relay. The fight against fluoride, starting to have victories there before we go to calls, but connecting health freedom that you spearhead with all the other sectors out there. I mean, really, I think Americans now are having it thrown in their face that this really is tyranny. This is really happening. What's your take on just how crazy things have gotten?
Well, I think it's fascism. I think this a big crux of the problem is related to this incredible collusion between these international corporations and the government that essentially they're able to lobby and pass legislations to make it legal to manipulate and deceive people and really implement their agenda, which is to increase their bottom line profits. So, our big mission is really to help people understand how to take control of their health, and I'm glad you're making efforts in that direction too, but there's very simple strategies. The more you study health, the more you realize that it's really very basic and simple processes like getting away from sugar, or exposing your skin to natural sunshine, exercising, drinking plenty of clean water. These are simple strategies that really move your body towards health and away from disease. And the challenge, however, I realized after teaching people this for over a decade, because our website's been around for about 15 years now, is that it's sometimes very difficult, if not impossible, to implement these simple strategies because of this fascist corporate control of the government that really puts these massive barriers and prevents people from making these choices because of the self-interested legislation that's been passed to benefit these corporations.
Well,
so
it's very simple.
An activist role.
Well, you're absolutely right. It's very simple. It just hit me. Big Agra merged with Big Pharma openly is lobbying for the Food Safety Act that actually just shuts down local farms and lets big Agra put out all their poison and get in trouble. They exempt themselves in the laws. But most family farms are barely hanging on. And if the children can't help with the chores, which they enjoy doing, I know I've done it, and learn how to drive the tractor and help get the eggs and, help do stuff, A, they're not going to be able to carry out that tradition because they won't know how to do it. But B, that's going to bankrupt them. This is big Agra shutting down their competition. This is so criminal.
Absolutely. The person who runs our company was raised as a farm boy, and it just imparted tremendous ethical and moral values. I mean, and when you're working that hard to provide a living for yourself and your family, it makes a big difference, and really molds a person into really a solid human being.
I tell you, I mean, I've worked on farms just on the summers, and then 1 year down in the country, and for a large animal vet, and it's really good to be around people that really work. And then you come around the modern folks, they don't understand getting into the work and actually enjoying it. So many people I know do not understand the joy of working the land, especially when it's yours. And they're trying to kill one of the final American traditions that's left. It is so evil.
I agree. It's a real challenge, and when those small farms go, it could be the beginning of the end. So we really need to take a firm stand against that, because that's a really important part of our ability to provide us with some of the basic foundational tools we need to stay healthy, which is healthy, good food.
Well, it's time to get aggressive, too, and realize that eating healthy, organics, farms, having local communities that support their local farms is an absolute coffin nail to tyranny. And that they wouldn't have animal ID and premises ID to shut down the farms. They wouldn't do these staged events, Doctor, that I'm sure you've seen in the news, where to get animal ID, premises ID in, they'd give the blue ribbon for the calf or the pig or whatever to the beauty queen or whatever. And then when she got up or he got up to get the award, they'd say, "Excuse me," this was on all over the country a few years ago, "they didn't do their premises ID. They're banned from showing here." And they were getting money behind the scenes at the local fairground to do this event and take them off the stage with deputies like they were criminal. It wasn't the law you had to do that, but they were implying they were bad. I mean, that's the type of dirty tricks, Doc, we're up against.
It really takes an educated group of people to understand this and take appropriate action. And I'm really grateful for the services that you provide to help people understand this process.
But how diabolical is because I started seeing a pattern and then later confirmed it was nationwide. How diabolical is it to do stunts like that?
Yeah, it really hits the limit. It's just they really will stop at no end, it seems, to achieve their primary goal, which is to increase their bottom line profits.
Well, I mean, is it more than that with Monsanto and others, though? I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of people, and I would include myself in that group, who consider Monsanto to be the most evil corporation on the planet. They're responsible directly for killing 250,000 farmers in India through suicides because of the crop programs that they've implemented, and creating a scenario that really makes them have almost no logical choice except to kill themselves. I mean, this is the type of evil that they have over there. And
tell folks how they kill themselves.
By consuming the pesticides that they produce, that they buy from Monsanto.
And I've also seen the studies that most of these GMO crops don't even perform like they say they will.
Oh, that's one of the big lies, and it will be used massively in this propaganda campaign, is that the justification for use of these genetically engineered crops is that it's going to feed the world, that it will provide more food for the people with less, and be more efficient and more effective, when the truth of the matter is that the primary reason that genetically engineered crops exist is that they can use this herbicide called glyphosate, which is a systemic poison and really kills weeds that grow around there, but it actually it weakens the plant and makes it less effective over the long term, and it actually increases the use of pesticides, which was promoted when it was initially started to decrease the use, and it does the exact opposite. So that just increases the sales and revenues for this just giant corporations.
Well, then there's all those mutations in the cotton plants, too. I was watching on television. Sure. It does all this weird. The people are like, they lied to us. They destroyed us. And then now that I've planted this, the old stuff won't grow in the soil now. It's dead. I mean, talk about a plan.
Yeah, it's very devious and evil. There's just no question in my mind, and that's why we're really putting all this time, effort, and energy to defeat their nefarious plans. And because we've got this limited window where we think we can make a dent, and and if we defeat them in California, that could be the beginning of the end for Monsanto, at least in genetically engineered seeds and plants, because they've got plans for implementing this massively, to having
grass, trees,
there's only a few foods now that are genetically engineered, but they're trying to get almost every single plant out there and control the entire seed supply of the world.
And by the way, for those that don't know, what is it? Almost 90% of corn's now GMO. I mean, once they get a crop, they take it over, which is, they've said, food is a weapon. I want to go to calls, but you're right. This fight in California, they're going to spend $100 million, but word of mouth, small donations. What can people do? Describe the fight simply for folks. Explain to them what's happening. A lot of listeners know, but this big battle to simply try to have this move to label if something is cross-species, grows its own pesticide in it, whatever the case is.
Well, a small group of us have already donated $3 million to collect the nearly 1 million signatures in the state of California to get it on the ballot. So it will be on the ballot. Californians will have a chance to vote for it. There's going to be, as you mentioned, a $100 million campaign of propaganda by Monsanto. So if people can go to Organic Consumers Association, which is one of the best nonprofit organizations for organic foods, and just go to their homepage, and there'll be an opportunity there that they can donate directly to the campaign. But if anyone listening to this is in California, could volunteer their efforts to go and educate and inform your friends, relatives, and neighbors to let them know about this, so they can actually vote yes on this. And they're going to require quite a bit of effort to defeat what's already present, because the polls show over 80% of people are already in favor of this initiative. 80%. So they have to turn around 30%. It's going to be a massive effort on their part. But when you put $100 million, you can sway things a bit. So we're really going to need all the help, effort, and energy we have, because it's a David and Goliath battle. It really is.
Well, the electronic voting machines, the studies have had top experts on, like Bev Harris, cannot steal a landslide. That's why you need a total landslide, or they'll steal it. I mean, you talk about dirty tricks. They will use those electronic machines and then have a propaganda campaign so people believe that you've lost. But the point is, the fight, you will educate people. You will win either way. And this is the beginning of the end for their crimes against humanity. When we do finally reverse all this, their takeover of government, they need to be held accountable, because not just the dioxin, but or the Agent Orange, or all the other crimes, Monsanto is truly a wicked company. But what really takes them down is the fact that you can pull up the mainstream articles, folks. Just search Monsanto cafeterias GMO-free. Their scientists will not eat what they're producing. So remember that. And the elites are all, of course, Doc, I know you know about this, but I actually found it's even in the LA Times in places. And the Chinese elite feed GMO to their people, but they only eat organic. The European elites are the same. What do these guys know that the public doesn't?
It's exactly what we've been saying. They know it's not good for your health. But you're right. With respect to this ballot initiative, they can control it through this electronic balloting manipulation. And that's why we obtained 900,000 signatures. You only need 505,000 to put a ballot initiative on the
incredible
on the
work.
vote. But we doubled it just to make sure that they didn't manipulate it on us.
Yeah, I should have introduced you as spearheading that. Obama ban on youth farm chores, part of a larger power grab. You want to understand Agenda 21? It's all right there in the article. Get it out to everybody. They've announced the Pentagon's involved, Homeland Security for Freedom is now. Join it. Many hands make light work. Together, we will defeat these monopoly men tyrants.
We're on the GCN Radio Network.
In other news, Kurt Nemo's article just went up at Infowars.com and pointed out, and it is in Market Watch, which is part of the Wall Street Journal. It is in the Examiner. It is true that 900 major municipalities, in fact, most of the country, will cast its ballots, and it'll be master aggregated by a Spanish company that flooding out, harassing. And the answer is, don't comply, don't talk to them, shun them, hate them in your community, or it's over. Okay, this is a federal invasion, which means a foreign banker invasion. There's a bunch of other incredible news. It has been confirmed. A caller called about an hour ago
massively in their ability to fund this type of propaganda campaign they're going to throw at us.
Powerful information. We're going to take calls and cover a lot more with an amazing guest and a hard guy to get on the show. Dr. Joseph Mercola, Mercola.com. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. The battle